Canadian brass. And we're from Canada, more or less. This is Chris, he's from Lower Canada, real south, around New York. And Bernard's from near Saskatchewan, but further south, around Chicago. And Caleb is also from South Canada, New York. And Achilles is from as far east as you can go in Canada. If you think of the map of Canada, way out in the east, from Greece. And I'm from Toronto, which is in Canada. So we're happy to be here in Latvia. We haven't been here for many years. These guys don't even remember being here. That's how long ago it was. In fact, I don't remember anything from that era. Nothing. And we're going to hear some people play, but before we start, we'll play a couple pieces right now. Should we do the Muy Linda?
Sure.
And the Samuel Scheidt? Both? Okay. So this is English and German. How many of you will be at the concert tomorrow? Everybody? Okay. So this will give you a bit of a preview of the earliest brass music ever written. So the first is the Samuel Scheidt. No, it's Muy Linda, the English, and then the Scheidt, which is features the two trumpets.
So if you guys wanted to start coming on up here, what we're going to do today is listen to this young group, which we hear is an all-star group after winning a competition. Each one of you were selected to perform for us, so thank you for participating and congratulations. And maybe we'll talk about some basics approaches to brass instruments and music in general, and we'll coach you on the 3 pieces that you're going to play. So please join us on stage. Sure. Does somebody want to represent the group and do an introduction? Okay, I'll introduce them for them. This is the 5 anonymous group. Nice job, guys. Yeah.
Bernard's favorite piece.
This is Bernard's favorite piece.
But you guys stole my solo. I played as a horn. You guys are all amazing players, I can tell. You play with great sounds, and you're good musicians. And how long have you rehearsed this piece? How long have you played together? Like just now, right? You just started rehearsing? Yeah, that's incredible. Like they really sound like a... I mean, we've heard a lot of groups, and that's actually... you guys sounded really great. So I just have a couple suggestions for you right at the start, and I'm sure everyone else has some more suggestions. First thing is, I think you can take it a little faster.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys took it at a very slow tempo, and it's very impressive how well you play it at that tempo. But think of it kind of like in a two, like a cut time. You want to try it? All right, let's try. I'll give you a conductor. Yeah, I have two microphones. Who has the melody at bar 3? Yeah, trumpet 1. So what do you guys have to do for him when he plays that? Play a little softer. Yeah, all right, let's try it again. So a little faster tempo, and then when you hear the melody, except if you have the melody play out, and if you don't, back off. What do you guys think? Like the tempo? Is it okay? Easier, right? I think it makes... You guys like the tempo a little better? Yeah, it flows.
Here's a good test. If you're ever going to play a piece and you want to know if you're playing it too fast or too slow, you should sing it. And actually, we're going to ask you to sing this right now. And if you're taking a breath in the middle of the phrase and you can't finish the phrase, then it's too slow. It should be a singing tempo. So if it's like... something like that. It should feel, the breath shouldn't be something that you're trying to hide. The breath should be part of the music. So you should, it's like speaking. You want to speak and then take a breath. It's part of the phrase. So can we sing it? This is your first note. No. 2, 3. All right, cool. Let's stop. That's good. So you guys have good... They passed test 1, which is that they could actually sing the notes. But can you sing it like you're actually going to sing it? Like sing it like you're a choir. Don't just sing da, dee, dee, dee. I mean, you don't have
Just
to.
like that. You must sing just like that.
And your part... Okay, so really, actually stand up if you're going to sing it like a choir. You know, and you're not going to stand like this either. Like Superman. Okay. 1, and... Steal the show here. Really steal the show. Great moment right here. nice, much better. Right?
Maybe we should try it on the mouthpiece too. If you do a little mouthpiece buzzing too.
Yeah,
For the first phrase.
We like to say that there's the trio of life. That's a new name, by the way. But sing it first, buzz it next, and then play it. How many of you are brass players in the audience? Everyone in the last, about half of you. Okay, for everyone else, don't buzz it. Just whistle it. Okay, so now can we just play the first note, make sure we're in the right key here. So just play the very first chord on your instrument. Okay, good. Okay, so now take your mouthpiece out. And just the mouthpiece. Just your mouthpiece, yeah. And can we just hear an F major, or I'm sorry, an E flat major chord? So play the same note, you could just play your C there. Okay, who thinks that the tuba is the loudest? Who thinks that the horn is the loudest? Trombone? Trumpets? Raise your hand if you think trumpets are the loudest. Of course. Yeah. So balance. Balance is important. With tuba, buzzing the mouthpiece is very challenging because you run out of breath very quickly, so that's okay. So you won't be as balanced, but can we just do that chord, really balanced sounding, just the mouthpieces? Good, so more low brass and less first trumpet, or whatever trumpet.
This kind of brings up a couple of good points. The sound, when you buzz the mouthpiece, you should be trying to go for a really big, rich, buzzy sound. And it comes from initially taking a nice big breath. And I'm seeing you guys are playing well, but I think you could probably take bigger, more relaxed breaths. And we should practice that just for a minute here. So, Caleb, you want to direct us in some breathing exercises?
I'll do the snap.
Sure. Okay. Can you put your instruments down safely?
Great. And if you would like to participate, you can stand up and breathe with us. So, we like to do this exercise a lot, and it really helps you to get a nice, relaxed, warm breath, which is great for playing with a beautiful sound. So, Chris will be our metronome. And I'm going to hold up my fingers to indicate how many beats we're going to inhale and exhale. So, if I do this, that means 4 beats inhale, 4 beats exhale. Yes? And you can do this to get a really nice breath. And if you hear this sound, that's not a nice breath, right? So a nice relaxed breath sounds like you hear that warm air rushing past your hand. So it's just a tool we use to breathe, relax.
Your eyes on this guy here.
Nice. I need my metronome up front. Okay, so we're going to start with 4 beats in and 4 beats out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. 3. 1, 2, and out. Keep going. Make sure you inhale fully, exhale fully. And when you reach the top, don't hold it. Let it out completely. All the way out, all the way in. Keep going. Continuous. Out. Now 2. Here we go. Faster air. 1. And we're finished. Great, you can have a seat. So now your lungs are feeling even bigger, right? And if you breathe this way while you play, with that warm quality, and that relaxed quality, your sound will be warmer and more beautiful. So,
the difference, if you take a big breath and you're playing the mouthpiece, it's easy in the mouthpiece to play with sort of a weak sound. That's okay, but it's better if you take a big breath. Like you're playing the horn. So when we buzz the mouthpiece, I want you guys to take a nice big breath and play with a very big, rich sound. Just waste the air, like you're just kind of blowing the mouthpiece off your face. So, want to try it? The opening again? Get the pitch in your head. Let's get the first note.
Just because we're talking about a piece of music here, so just as a very side note, but it applies here, the markings of slurs and not slurs, for you non-brass players, you probably know what I mean. When you see a slur, a lot of times it means a phrase or it implies how to play something. But for a brass player, we usually think that just means that you should tongue it or you should not tongue it. But there's a lot more than that. And with this particular thing, don't feel like you need to tongue every note. Ta, ti, ta, ta, even though that's the way it's written. I think maybe slur, 2 bars. Ta, ta, something like this. You could be free. Just putting it out there. Okay, back to the beginning, buzzing.
Now to get the relationship between buzzing and playing, no, just do 2 bars and then play the horn. You want to sit down for this?
Okay, so let's just hear you play it 2 bars, and then we're going to buzz 2 bars and then play 2 bars. Already the sound is more rich, right? And already it's just more together, and you're breathing more. Let's go back to buzzing this again. Why don't we start right on bar 3, though? Otherwise, we're not all playing. Do you play at bar 3? Yes. Okay, right on bar 3. 2, 3. Okay, great. Okay, now let's play those same bars. Bar 3. 2, 3.
Very nice.
Big difference.
Great. Now, before we move on to the next piece, I just want to do one thing. You guys have a really beautiful group sound, really nice. But can we expand that to cover all different dynamic ranges? So can we play the last note at a mezzo forte? And then I want us to go a little louder and to fortissimo, and then we're going to bring it down to pianissimo. Okay? So let's start mezzo forte, the last note. The beautiful sound. Okay? Forte. Great, really nice, beautiful, warm sound. Now, keep that warm, round sound, fortissimo, okay? Last bar. Great, you hear how it kind of got a little, it wasn't as beautiful as the forte. Let's try to make it as warm and beautiful as the forte sound, okay? So support the sound and think the most beautiful sound you can, okay? Ready? Very nice. Now, piano. Let's go mezzo piano, yeah? Good. Piano. Great. Pianissimo. Very nice. Okay, isn't that a great difference? When you can have control over all the dynamic ranges, you can really enhance the music. Great job. How about the next piece? Will you introduce this piece, please?
Fuga.
Who's the composer?
Box.
Okay, great. Fugue by Bach.
Nice, beautiful. I like the fugue a lot because it starts with trombone. Great. Okay, you guys, again, you sound beautiful, beautiful sound, all of you. My comment is that it sounds almost too perfect, like almost like a computer. Bum, 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 bum. So if you can just phrase it in a way, you know, sometimes I like to draw like a line that looks like that, or like imagine a little ball that bounces. And through that I make kind of a swell in the sound. So you want to try that from the beginning? Nice. Okay, that's a little better. Can we exaggerate that? So do the same, but 100 times more. Just as an experiment. Let's make it sound like a Hollywood movie. And it might be too much, but it's better if it's too much and we make it a little bit less than, you know what I mean? Let's start one more time from the beginning. Pom, 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 pom. Okay, it's great. Well, let's start one more time. One more time. that's more alive. It brings a little bit more life to the music. It's almost like a speech, you know. If somebody comes in front of a lot of people and is like, hello, my name is Achilles. Thank you very much for being here. You're all wonderful. Thank you very much. And someone that comes, hello, my name is Achilles. It's wonderful, I'm here. But it's great. I want to see you again. Okay, see you. Whatever, you know. Even if it's not a great speech, it can be kind of exciting, you know. It gets people's attention. And that's, I think, what we should go for.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to talk about because when it really comes down to it, the most memorable musical experiences that we have, whether it's a recording or a video or a concert, they're not just you don't remember it because it sounds good. You know, it's not enough to really make an impression on somebody. You remember it because it makes you feel something emotionally. And if it's a really amazing performance, or any piece of art could do this, if it's music, you don't just hear it, you could almost see it. And if it's a piece of artwork, you don't just see it, you could smell it. You know, it goes beyond logic, it goes beyond the senses. And it combines all our human experiences and memories into one experience. So it sounds a little out there, but when you're playing a phrase, you could, if the best is just sounding good, that's not going to be good enough to really blow everyone away. What's going to blow everyone away is when they don't even know that they're listening to a brass quintet. They're just feeling like the first time they ever saw a flower or something, just like, wow, just amazed. That's what you're really going for. So if the goal is to sound good, then even if you achieve it, it won't be enough. So you really have to think really big. You want to, like, bigger than that jump. You want to think, like, what do you want people to feel when they hear this Bach piece, this little fugue? You want them to feel like punching somebody in the face? or what? It could be anything, you know? Maybe you can't describe it in words, but it's worth trying. What kind of emotion is this? Sad? Happy? Playful? No, not playful, right? Maybe sad, maybe happy. It's introspective. Yeah, Bach is unique in that you can't really put your finger on if it's happy or sad. Yeah, okay. We'll play it with you. Much better. Thank you. One thing that's very practical to think about, and it works well with Bach, but it works with other things as well. If you feel like the piece sounds a little flat, like Achilles was saying, it sounds almost like a machine, one way to start, and you could change it, but one way to start is to really exaggerate the shape that the phrase already has naturally. Like when Achilles played it, did you hear the way he played it? You want to play that one more time? It just sounded so beautiful. Do you see what he did? he goes, as the phrase goes higher, it gets a little bit bigger. And then it breaks as it takes a skip.
Quick question for anybody. What are the first three notes? What's the function of the first three notes? What was Achilles doing to them to make them so interesting? Anybody know? What are they? They are pickups to the fourth beat, right? It gives it direction immediately. He did it naturally. That's one way you can, if you look at it on the page too, it's 2, 3, 4, 1, you know, automatically giving it to you, so you can exaggerate that.
Great. Now, how would you guys feel about completely changing this up just for the sake of being creative? Now, can you play this a little more maestoso with a little more lift to the notes? So the legato is beautiful. Legato is nice and cantabile. Now, just to change things, let's play maestoso with a little more bounce in the notes. Was that a difference in the way the piece sounded to the audience? Yes? It sounded different to me. So sometimes that's a useful way of trying to play in really different styles. And that's just a completely different thing. Nice job.
So we heard rumors that there's one more piece. Is it true? We should point out that I think you made really good choices. This Bach, this Mozart is beautiful. And you might hear that at a concert. It's not just an exercise piece, of course. And same thing with this Bach. All right, short introduction. Do you know anything about this piece?
Spiritual.
Yeah, it's a spiritual. Good. One more word. Where's it from? Oh, it's an American spiritual, yeah. All right, any last comments?
Do they know how they should play it? What kind of feeling they should have?
Yeah, what's the style? Is this Baroque? Baroque?
I didn't know.
Is it classical or is it jazz? Is it hip hop?
No, punk rock.
Punk rock. Okay, well, let's find out. We'll have an audience vote. job. It's really, really exciting. So do you guys know the words to this? Anyone recognize this song? No, right? You know, it's American. There's words to it. It's a very silly song, and it's like your toes bone connected to your foot bone's connected to your tailbone. I don't know. And all these different bones are connected. This bone's connected to that bone. This bone's connected, and people sing it for kids. Yeah. So it's just a fun little silly piece with these words about teaching, I guess, a kid about body parts or something. Different bones. Nice. So I think we're trying to give you useful information that you can take back to your own chamber group, because as you know, they don't play together, and they never will again, probably. So, which is very sad, because you guys should take this tour on the road. It's true.
Start making money tomorrow night.
Yeah. Your assignment is to go outside and make 20 euros in 1 hour, or you fail. No. This was what my teacher had told me at school. But something for you to take back to your own groups, or if you ever start a group, would be all the things that we talked about. But one thing we didn't really talk about yet is leadership. And chamber music is a really interesting place to talk about leadership, because there's no real leader, right? Maybe musically the trumpets have the melody more, right? And maybe the tuba is more in charge because he's got control over time. You know, but you guys have the inner voice and can completely change the intonation and sound of the group at any given moment. So everyone's pretty equal as far as who's giving leadership. And I'm not seeing enough leadership quite yet. You're being very perceptive and listening to each other, which is really great. But you need a really equal balance of leading, following, and just coasting and being in between. There's no easy way to teach how to do that, but are you playing the first part, or is this the second part? Or it sort of switches, right? It's the first part. Can you somehow give the audience the impression that you're the conductor, and not doing anything like this, but steal the show? Does that make sense? You understand? Yeah, you will play. And at the same time, you have the melody most of the time. So you steal the show. So there should be energy coming from pockets of the ensemble. Tell us if this is different. If it's not different, I'll go home. All right, hold on. What leader looks at their... Yeah, you don't look at your troops like... It's like, all right, how about this? I'm going to conduct. And when I cue you, everyone in the audience goes, ta, okay? Ta. Good. Pretty good. Pretty together, right?
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Play your first note, first bar. Just play the first note. First note, bar one. Now stand up and you give, we'll come in with you. Okay. So stand up once and just pick it. I'll play that note together with them. Ready? Stand up.
Good job. Nice.
A little more air. Let's hear the air. That's exactly what trombone player says. Perfect. Okay, tuba.
Nice.
Great. So y'all get the idea.
So now, can you all stand and you all cue each other? Equal leadership? All right, good. One more time. Keep going. Great.
How about the piece?
Now, you could, why don't you play the piece standing and just, that sort of leadership from every single person on every single note.
that Caleb did with you last piece, the dynamics. Huge contrast.
49.
So that's fortissimo at the end.
Yeah, I hope you guys feel that you learned a lot because it sounds a lot different, and I'm sure that whatever groups you play in are going to be thankful that you were here. So thank you, and I think we have time for questions.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah,
One more.
one more round of applause. These guys good. So feel free to take a seat. Maybe sit up here. Do you guys have any questions for them? Like, what's it like to be yelled at on stage, or make somebody sing? What does it feel like to sing as high as possible when everyone's watching? Yeah.
I can translate.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions? Maybe you can ask them what made the biggest difference or something. No questions?
How many years all of you have played your instruments?
Good question. How many years have you all played your instruments? How long have you played your instrument?
I don't know. Maybe 10 years.
10 years. Great. How long have you played? 6 years. 6 years. Fantastic. It's really short. He's still counting. He ran out of fingers. 14 years. 14 years. Wow. You must be in your 50s by now. No.
6 years.
6 years. Great. Wow.
10 years.
10 years. Great. That's really great. Good question. So what does that mean? How long have you played together as a group then? I'm going to add those numbers together. You guys have been playing together for almost 80 years. Any other questions? You could ask Bernard questions too. You don't have to just ask these guys. Like, why are we wearing the same shoes? Oh, well, I'll tell you why. We like ballet music, and we liked it enough to do a tribute to ballet, which if you're coming to the concert tomorrow, you'll see. And we forgot our ballet slippers. No, these are more comfortable, and they look the same. Good question. Good for jumping as well. Any other questions? And by the way, if you forget what you're going to ask and you think of it later and you say, oh man, I wish I would have asked them, you could always contact us. We're on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We have a website, CanadianBrass.com. And as a matter of fact, we're giving away a free track from our new album, which is not even out yet. It's still, we're still in the middle of mixing it and all that. It's called Perfect Landing. And nobody's ever heard this before. It's not out, so if you want to hear that, you can check that out at CanadianBrass.com. But if you have any questions now's your chance. Yes?
How do you work? So you're from different cities, from different schools. How do you work?
So
How often you're coming together in a rehearsal or something?
Yeah, it's true. We all live in different cities, obviously. And how do we rehearse? How do we get together? Well, most of the year we're touring, so we're performing a lot. And when we're not performing, we're recording. For example, we just finished this recording, where we're finishing it. Video shoots and camera shoots, and then we rehearse when we're on the road. Is that probably the best answer? Yeah. Skype. Good question, though. Yeah, it's tough. It's a challenge. Yes.
play with strings? Strings, violin, cello.
Do we play with strings? Yes. As a matter of fact, we play with a lot of orchestras. So a lot of the music that we play, we are, instead of having, let's say, a violin soloist, we have brass quintet soloist. And we'll do a concert with strings and with a full orchestra. And so yes. Yeah.
How many years do you play together?
Together, well, the group started back in 1970, although none of us were born when that happened. Only Chuck was around. And he was the baby of the group, and the other guys have all since retired. And each of us joined at different moments. For me, it's been a little over 6 years.
Yeah, this is my 5th year in the group.
Caleb?
Fourth year for me.
I'm the newest. It's been a little over 2 years for me.
And a really good question about how we get together and play is tour. We've just been 3 weeks. We were in Austria and Switzerland. No, we weren't in Switzerland. Oh, we just stopped there for lunch. Oh, we were in Switzerland. It was Austria where we stopped for lunch. And Italy. And we were also in Germany. We had lunch in Germany as well, several times, because we were there for 3 weeks. So now we're here. We didn't have lunch yet. So. Another question? In the back? Anything about the tuba? Did you notice that it has a different bell on it? It's black? You might think it's painted black. It's not. It's actually carbon fiber. Very lightweight. A really wonderful material. Very resonant. And I think I'm the only player in the world that plays this. So either there's something wrong with all of them or something wrong with me. I'm not sure which.
Is there a hand in the back? Okay. Yeah, another question, sure.
What do you do if you worry before the concert?
Oh yeah, so how many people here are performers? Is everyone here perform? And how many of you guys actually have been on stage, maybe have to do a speech at a wedding or something? Yeah. So stage, that excitement you feel when you're on stage is pretty common. And probably the best answer is that we perform a lot, and the best way to get over that is to practice so that that feeling doesn't become a negative emotion, but instead it becomes a positive source of energy. And the more you practice doing that, the more you learn to actually really look forward to feeling that excitement.
Exactly. So I teach at a university, and my students are always like, "Oh, I don't want to perform. I'm scared." And they're like, to graduate from the university, you have to do one recital. That's all that's required. And so if you only did the one recital, imagine how nervous you'd feel for the 4 years, one concert. So I tell my students to play as many recitals as you can. So that one recital no longer becomes that important. It's just one of many, one of an infinite amount of performances, and create your own performances. If you go to a church or a synagogue or a community center, like play concerts for free, play concerts for your friends, play concerts for your relatives, any kind of concerts. Doesn't have to be solo, could be chamber music, could be with others, other groupings of instruments. Just create constant performances and constant opportunities for yourselves to perform, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. You just get used to it. So.
You'd think one of the most nerve-wracking things would be playing in a really large city. Your first performance in New York City for us, for the Canadian Brass, the first really important concert, like really, really, really important concert was New York City. And we had a tour that was 17 concerts in a row, one after another. And New York was number 14 on the list. So by the time we got to New York, it was just a concert. So we weren't nervous. And afterwards we realized it was just like every other concert. But if we'd only had that one concert, we would have worried about it for months. We would have been so nervous. But because it was in a string of concerts, like Bernard says, one recital. If you have 4 years to worry about one concert, oh my, you'll have thought of every possible thing that could go wrong. But if you're playing for your friends, And the nice thing to do is when you have a solo ready to play, or not even ready, just bring your friends into a room and play it for them. You'll get the same feeling then you will in the recital, and that's a good practice to start doing that.
And actually, as a quintet, if you have a quintet or other chamber ensemble, probably the most difficult thing would be to go into the place where everybody eats lunch in school and disrupt everyone's lunch with a musical performance that people actually like and gather around you and cheer instead of telling you to shut up so that they could eat. And that's really challenging, and it'll make you very nervous. But if you could learn how to make that audience happy, audiences will explode when they hear you. That's an opportunity that most groups don't take advantage of, but it would be very useful.
We have time for one more question.
Yeah. One more question.
What's your favorite piece for each one of you?
Ooh.
My favorite one is the Little Fugue in G minor.
Probably Bach's B minor Mass.
It's a tie between B minor Mass and Mozart's C minor Mass.
My favorite piece is any piece that has a trombone solo.
And my favorite piece, it's anything that has a trumpet solo. That's a really tough question. I don't know, for me there are so many pieces I love, I can't say. I like pretty much anything by Bach. I'll tell you that. I haven't found one piece I don't like.
Bach's the winner.
We played a concert once, we played Beethoven's The French Against the English, Wellington's Victory. And the conductor announced the piece. And we're trying to get people excited about brass music, we have this nice arrangement. And first thing he said was, this gives you an idea of what a composer does on a day off. He said, this is really, really not good Beethoven. And then we played the piece. It was really difficult.
Be very careful who introduces your piece, which is why you should learn to introduce your own.
So I think we're
Just about out of time. Yeah, so thanks again for coming, and thank you guys, and congratulations. And again, if you want to stay in touch with us, are you guys Facebook people? Twitter people? I see a couple of nods for Facebook. You don't do Instagram. But the photos are so nice. Oh, you do Instagram. Oh, well, thanks. And we have a YouTube channel. You probably have seen that. We're trying to get famous on YouTube. So, yeah, thank you very much for coming, guys. Let's give one more round of applause for these folks and for your critics. And we hope to see you tomorrow at the concert. We also have some of our newest CDs outside. We'll be selling them at the concert tomorrow, but it's usually really crowded, so if you want, we could sign them for you too. So, thanks.